make them, oh,
Okay, I guess
you
we're
can
gonna
make
start.
it.
So, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Grafton Board of Health regular July meeting. It is July 8th at 6 o'clock. And I'll entertain a motion to open the meeting.
Make a motion to open meeting?
Second the motion to open the meeting.
And all in favor?
Aye.
So, we're gonna start off here. And by the way, Karen is away, so I'm vice chair. I'm gonna get the ball rolling here for this evening. And we're gonna start off with the CMRPHA updates from Claudia.
Sure, a couple different things. First, everyone should have gotten the monthly update from Karen, as well as a window safety checklist with just educational information, ticks and mosquitoes materials, and just general summer safety materials. A couple quick things to note in the monthly update. Again, the next quarterly Alliance meeting is going to be on July 24th at 12:30 at the Holden Town Hall. The topic of this meeting will be emergency dispensing sites, how you utilize volunteers, how you engage other town departments and the community in EDS planning and response. So I would encourage any of you to attend if you can, or to pass along the invitation to other town departments or individuals that it may be worthwhile for them to attend. Certainly the more the merrier for this discussion.
Any idea how long that will the meeting will be?
Hour and a half.
Hour and a half.
And we literally cut off at 2 o'clock,
Okay.
just to keep it manageable for people. So 12:30 to 2.
And what day of the week is that?
Oh, I think it's a Wednesday, but I'm not
It's
positive.
during the week,
Yeah, it is during the week. I believe it's a Wednesday.
Usually Thursdays?
Well, that's about, that's about, I think it's a Wednesday.
July what, 24th?
24th.
24th, it's a Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Yep.
Ooh.
2
Okay.
weeks from this Wednesday.
Great.
And who, do we have to RSVP to somebody?
If you could just let me know, just so we have a count for food.
Oh, even food, better.
Lunch is provided. That's how you get people, right? If you have a meeting at
So
12:30, you gotta provide lunch, because
So
otherwise
true.
no one's gonna come.
Yay.
We're there.
Also, under the nursing updates, still no measles cases in any of the Lions communities, which is good. In addition to that, the shingles vaccine clinic, so the first one was held on May 8th here in Grafton. 20 people were vaccinated with their first dose. The next shingles vaccine clinic is scheduled for July 10th from 1 to 3 p.m. here at the Board of Health office as well. And our public health nurse Amelia will be holding a hands-only CPR training on July 17th here from 10 to 11:30. I know it's in this building, I'm not sure the exact room, but that's July 17th from 10 to 11:30. Any questions on just this part before I go on to other updates? Okay. I attended, it must have been June 28th, that Friday. It was the first merged IBC meeting for Tufts. So it was merged between the Grafton campus as well as the Medford and Boston campuses. It went well, so I still go to Grafton. Everyone still meets in Grafton, and they have a virtual meeting up on the big screen so we can all communicate with one another and see one another. But it doesn't entail us traveling out there or them traveling here. So that went very smoothly. The 2 community members were also in attendance at that meeting. So hopefully, we'll continue to have good progress with these combined meetings, but it went fine for the first one, so that was a good sign. You should have also received, probably, last week I think while I was on vacation, your communicable disease report for January 1st through June 30th for the town of Grafton. I don't know if you've had a chance to review and you have any questions on this, or otherwise, when you do review it, let me know if you have any questions, and I can certainly pass that along to Pat regarding cases in the town.
And that was a 6-month period.
6 months, yep.
Good, we'll review that.
All right, and then the last is an update that I have from Mike, and I'm hoping, did you guys receive this too?
I emailed it last week.
Yes.
Okay. So just a couple things to highlight off of this. All food inspections for the month of June were completed, and he got partially into July before he left. In addition to that, it looks like there's some movement with Truth Organic Spa float tank. It looks like Mike had been emailing somebody at the state with all the information. She was passing that along to Steve Hughes at the state, and that they would get in touch with us. It
Do they
looks,
have another contact info now that Mike's email is probably not?
I believe Phil is now the point of contact, but I'll confirm that they know. I know Phil and Steve Hughes know each other very well, but I'll make sure that they know to contact Phil. It looks like there's also some properties that are at various stages. I don't know if anyone has any questions that you saw on any of these. Just with, you know, address, the point of contact person, and then where they're at. Did anyone have any questions on? Okay.
I think we're okay, and Phil was gonna keep in touch with a number of those, correct? people in charge.
Yes. So at this point, we have a bid that's posted just to get, you know, an as-needed consultant to, when there's, you know, an abundance of X number of inspections in anywhere in the Alliance, to have somebody on hand just to come in and plug holes that way. I have been in touch with HR. Hopefully this week Mike's position will be posted as well. And then in the meantime, Julie and Phil will be your main points of contact and coverage for the town. In addition to that, Kobe still works. I think Kobe did work in Grafton maybe at some point. Kobe still is on a limited number of hours because he does have a full-time job elsewhere, but he still does hours for us, so he will be providing hours as well until we get the position filled. He'll also be providing coverage the week that Phil's on vacation. Phil's on vacation the end of July. So he will actually be here for the week of July, Kobe, in the Alliance to provide coverage as well. So it'll be nice to have him because he's familiar with the towns as well. So we'll keep you posted as we make progress with the posting and then filling that position, as well as the bid for a contracted position, I believe closes this Friday. So hopefully we'll get some good applicants from that we'll keep you posted as well, our progress with that. But in the meantime, Phil and Julie will be your main points of contact.
I think it would be a good idea if we could send a thank you and good luck card to Michael.
It's a great idea.
And we could each sign it with a note, you know, just.
I emailed him.
get
Did
this-
you? Nice.
Yeah, he emailed me back, yeah.
That's great.
Thank you.
Yeah, we kind of go through an awful lot of,
Strangers.
yes. I think he was number 6 or 7 that we've had.
Wow.
Yep.
Other questions on anything?
Uh,
All right, I think that's all I have for an update, unless anyone has any questions.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
We're gonna be having in a little while, we're ahead of schedule here, but we're gonna have a public hearing for 120 Adams Road, so maybe we can skip ahead, if you don't mind. So the next thing on the agenda is, since it's the beginning of our fiscal year, the reorganization of the board. So at this time, I think I could entertain a nomination for chairman for this coming year.
I nominate Karen to remain as chairman.
I'll second that nomination.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And then vice chairman?
I nominate Dan to stay as vice chair.
I'll second that nomination.
Okay, and all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And then we have the clerk. I'd like to nominate Deb Chouinard as clerk for the coming year,
I'd like to second that nomination.
and all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Deb.
Okay.
Thank you, Dan.
There's a piece on here about meeting attendance, and I think it was someone that asked us to check on that in general. And I did.
So what happened was, usually I think it's the June Board of Selectmen's meeting, that's when they usually make their annual appointments.
Yeah.
So this year, instead of just automatically appointing everybody who is currently on a committee or board, the chairman, Bruce, asked if the chairman of each committee could actually look at the people that are on their boards and committees, see if they really still want to be on that board and committee, and are they attending enough meetings.
Yeah.
So that's why I think we had pulled out to see what the attendance policy was.
Right. And it's what, chapter 711, or section 711. And this is pretty broad, but it basically says that any person appointed to a multiple member body board in the town of Grafton, basically within one calendar year, if they fail to attend 6 or more consecutive meetings, or 1/2 or more of all the meetings, which in our case would be 6.
Would be 6, yep.
They would be asked to leave the board apparently, or.
That will constitute excessive absence.
Correct.
Right,
yeah.
Correct. So we just wanted to do that, state that right now as an expectation of, I think we've actually been pretty good. I think each of us have probably missed 2 or 3 meetings, and things come up,
Yeah.
family things and sickness and all that, but we just for the record wanted to state that.
Okay.
And that had been a request from the Board of Selectmen, so.
Yep. And now, next for discussion is 135 Westboro Road septic update. We had asked to see where they're at with bringing sewerage up that street.
No response.
Okay.
Can I add a little bit?
That's
So
right.
I asked Phil about it
Except
this
Phil,
morning.
yeah.
Oh, good.
So Phil said they're still pumping regularly. There's no issues that they have been made aware of. There has been a pre-construction meeting held for the sewer extension for that address. And Mike had been checking in regularly, and Phil will continue to do that. He was gonna stop by again this week. But there were no issues that they were made aware of, and it does appear that there is some movement with getting that extension to the location, because there was the pre-construction meeting.
Yeah,
I think that was just held within the past couple
Perhaps
weeks.
we could check with the sewer commission too, just see what their schedule looks like. And I know my concern too is that there was some talk, either the sale of the building or a building permit there, and I think we have to have them tied in before.
For the sale.
Well, the sale, I suppose, if it's not, doesn't involve a bank, that can have it, but to get a building permit or an occupancy permit, I believe.
Yeah.
Have to have them tied in. So we might try to revisit that next meeting, I guess. And reach out to the owner as well.
Which is August 5th. Hopefully there'll be a lot of progress made by then.
Yeah, or at least a definite timetable.
Yeah.
We're going on over 2 years with that failed system.
Yeah. There's a rep letter. I'm not sure what that is.
Rep letter.
Say that 5 times fast.
Right.
Have a letter from Katrina every start of the new fiscal year. The FEP Coalition, those meetings that are held once a month, I believe you went to one.
I did.
Okay, so Phil is usually our rep because he represents quite a few towns. So if you want Phil to keep representing Grafton, you just need to make a motion and I'll send the letter out, but nominating him. But then you need someone secondary. In the past, it was Dawn and then Lindsay, so I don't know if you want to go Mary Ann or someone else.
Okay. Yeah, so yeah, I think we should go with Bill as the primary, and I can probably be a secondary, looking at these Thursdays. If that's okay with everybody, I don't know if we need to vote on that. Does anybody want to make that motion?
So the meetings are Thursdays.
We just make 2 motions, one for primary and one for secondary.
Sure. So I make a motion that the primary rep to FEP will be, remain Phil. And then our secondary rep will be Dan.
I will second both of those nominations.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
And it looks like the next one is
Yeah.
August 1st? 11.
I'll check and make sure Phil can make it actually first.
So it'll be the Thursday before our next
Is
meeting.
your vacation August first? Is that going
The
to?
last week of
July.
What's the last week of July?
It is, so he will actually
Be around for
be
this.
on vacation August first.
Oh, okay.
Well,
I
plan-
guess they're going there.
I'll plan on going to that one. Okay, so,
Sign.
Sure.
yep,
All right, so we have some permits. Dave Mason, Mason Constructions, a disposal works installers permit.
okay.
I guess all three of us need to sign it.
Yep.
I think that one was just paper clip, there you go. Next, we have Pellegrino Trucking Company, solid waste permit. Next, we have Christopher Eatree, Earthworks, disposal works installers permit. Next, we have Sean Gungio of Diggs Construction from Uxbridge for a disposal works installers permit. Don't know that. And last, we have Al's Rubbish and Container Service for a solid waste hauler's license.
Who's that? Al's Rubbish.
Al's Rubbish, yep.
Do we have a letter from Tim Metal?
Yes, it's right here.
We should resolve that situation.
So this is the public hearing notice. This is his letter that was sent to you and to all the abutters.
Yeah.
This is Phil's recommendation. This is the actual permit. These are the plans, and this is all the cards and everything.
The cards, yep.
So should, under the time situation, should we open a public meeting?
Well, I think we'll probably
He's
have,
coming,
he's coming, so then
and
we'll wait
it's
till
not until
6:30.
6:30.
Yep, okay. Do you have some meeting minutes? Great.
These are just the quick ones with the
Oh, right.
selectmen.
Joint meeting with the Board of Selectmen from June 4th. Meeting was canceled.
Yes. Saigon had wanted to.
Oh, yes,
Okay.
okay. Motion to accept those minutes. Minutes from the Board of Health from June 11th. Board of Health was in attendance to participate in discussion on the medical reserve. Motion to approve them.
I'll second the motion to approve the June 4th Board of Health minutes.
And all in favor, aye.
June 11th. June 18th, joint meeting with Select Board. Board of Health was in attendance to participate in discussion with the medical reserve. a motion, did you make a motion?
I'm gonna make a motion to second the Board of Health minutes from the joint meeting with the select board on the 11th and the 18th.
And second.
And then I make a motion that we approve the minutes from June 25th, Board of Health meeting, was in attendance to discuss the medical reserve.
We'll be pretty busy in June.
Oh, what's that?
I don't know. It needs to be whited out.
I will, as amended, right?
As amended, I'll make a motion to accept it.
Second.
As amended.
Must have been something we were typing at the same time.
Yeah. There's no
No
notes.
bills, no
I took down.
discussion, minutes, correspondence, no correspondence, minutes reviews, no items. So we'll just,
I'll take the minutes back.
And under correspondence, did you make a note to send a card? Thank
to
you.
Mike.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
to
Mike.
Mike.
No, thank you.
I just want to check out these upcoming meetings here. Our next one is August 5th, Conference Room A, then September 9th, Conference Room F, October 7th, Conference Room F, November 4th, F again, and December 2nd and December 30th in Conference Room A. I'll make a note of those in your phones. So I guess we should get into this.
Keep looking at that clock.
I know, I keep looking at it too.
I know, I keep looking at that clock saying there's something wrong.
Right.
Yes, I guess so.
Okay, now we have a discussion on the Medical Reserve Corps. As we know, a decision was made by the Select Board to put forth a new format, which was Tim McInerney's option A, and it's basically employing Mary Ann DeFreeze to manage that. Now, whether she's going to be managing the grants or actually just the Medical Reserve Corps, I believe. So I believe Tim and Becca are going to continue to manage the grant piece. Any discussion on it?
Well, I have major concerns with Mary Ann taking over as the coordinator of MRC. Nothing personal against Mary Ann, but she currently works full-time for the police department, also works as a dispatcher, and now she's being asked to take on these additional duties as MRC coordinator. It's currently been about a 20-hour a week, give or take, position for all the prior coordinators, so I have major concerns that she'll be able to fulfill the duties of the MRC coordinator. There's also no contract yet, no grant money, so technically she's working without receiving MRC funds. So one of the things that we had talked about was, obviously our first recommendation from our last Board of Health meeting was to extend the contract for 3 months so we could figure this out, and that was turned down. The decision was made that there would no longer be the current position, that it would be handled by somebody in-house. And my concern also is the fact that Mary Ann works for the police department. In the event of an emergency, her alliance obviously is going to go to the police in fulfilling that duty and not being able to take care of the MRC in an emergency situation, like being able to contact MA Responds because she's going to be busy handling other emergencies and things like that. Obviously, Mary Ann has come into this position. She needs to be brought up to speed. She needs to learn the MA Responds and how that works. She also, we do have a website. The Greater Grafton MRC has a website. that needs to be maintained also. We have, the shingles clinic this week, and I know she did send out a notice yesterday requesting volunteers, and I understand she did get the volunteers she needed.
Is that the mass response?
It was not through Mass Response, it was just through an email. It wasn't through Mass Response that I got the response, it was from an email.
That could actually be an issue in the future if she is using the police email or whatever. This is,
Mhm.
you know, as we know.
This is a federal organization.
Right, so that might have to be addressed. And I'm not sure if Mary Ann realizes, but we sort of expect her to come quarterly or a representative of the administration just to brief us on what's been done and what the future plans are of the next quarter.
Was the Alliance aware that Mary Ann had taken over this position?
I believe so. I was on vacation last week, but I think you sent an email last week.
Yeah, just two things. I thought we were talking about the direction for the future for this, not rehashing the
Well, we
past.
will, just talk about that.
So,
Oh,
and
they're also-
Mary Ann, we had to mail the forms to Liz Foley, I sent certified mail on Friday, to have the query check for her and myself. So you have to have that before you can get into Mass Response. We are registered. As soon as we are verified through the query check, then we'll be administrators of the system. So we had to have a fallback position. I think you guys provided us with a list of Mass Response, and we had to use the email as the option to get the word out.
I know, you know, again,
Go ahead.
the police chief was concerned about using any of the police department's 40 hours that she works, but apparently she's gonna be, I'm still skeptical that she can pull it off, but I think it's worth a try at this stage of the game. That's what the selectmen have decided. But I think it's, as soon as you get that information back from Ms. Foley, I think all the other towns have to be notified as well, because right now it's just grapevine sort of information that's getting out there, so all the other 15 other towns have to be notified as soon as possible.
One of the other things that was brought up was the possibility of making the Great Grafton MRC a 501(c). We did have the representative from the Wachusett MRC come, and she spoke, and she currently runs, Judy O'Donnell, she runs the Wachusett area medical reserve, and she currently has 22 towns that she handles, and she runs that as a 501(c). So that was a possibility, so we may consider looking into that for the future.
Yeah, in the future, as a fallback, I think, and then there were a couple of towns that were interested in being the host town. That's a possibility in the future too, I believe. And again, at this stage of the game, I think we go with, deal with the hand that we were dealt, so to speak, or play with the hand that we were dealt, and see how it goes.
Do you know anything about National Night Out? Has that been put on the agenda for MRC? MRC always usually has
The first
a table,
first Tuesday. in
first
August.
Tuesday in August, always has a table set up, and they bring the trailer down, so that.
She'll have to do that.
Yeah,
Yes.
the Alliance also participates as well.
Yeah, the Alliance
We do. We
usually
have
has
a
a
public
table,
health table
usually a
too.
public health table, but then the MRC usually has a table set up, and SART has a table set up. They bring down the trailers, they get volunteers, they get public health materials to distribute. We made some nice little bags last year that we distributed, and, yeah, and there was tip twisters and something else with it, yep. There was the cards, tick identification, and, yeah, something else, so,
So again, hopefully the communication and that transition goes smoothly. It might be worth, personally, I don't know that the 501(c)(3) is a great option because of the additional paperwork on the federal level and whatever, but it's probably worth researching, you know, just to have as a backup. And whether another town wants to get in touch with us, that's also good as a backup, but for now, I think we have to go forward.
because I just find it hard that somebody's going to, who already has a full-time position, is gonna be able to handle all the additional work with the MRC.
But we will see. I guess we're gonna wait a few more minutes to see if Tim arrives.
Yeah, it's after 6:30.
Can you pass this back down to Nancy?
Are you moving off of the MRC piece?
For now, yeah.
Are you gonna revisit it, so I should stay here?
No, I don't think we are gonna revisit it,
Because
so.
can I just, I don't want to interrupt or interject, but I just want to be clear, the board gave me some particular instruction relative to what it means to create a 501c3. So I grabbed this book from the library, I created one when I first got out of college for another matter.
Yep,
You need a board of directors, you need to contact the Secretary of State, have a clerk, a treasurer, a president. So I have, between the book and the first step has to be the articles of incorporation that'll
Yep,
happen. with
and
the
we
Secretary
actually
of
have
State.
all that.
So that can all happen, that'll be outside of the board of health, it can be
Mhm.
in 3, it can be in 5, however you design it. But there's resources here, I brought those if you wanted them. The only trepidation I have for that is Judy, great person, 22 towns, from what I understand, her materials are in her attic and or basement. I just don't know how people access that in an emergency situation. If she was hit by a bus, if she went on vacation, I don't know what that is, but I know that it's very far removed from any backup or fail-safe. So that's the only trepidation I have. But I think it could work, as long as that board of directors is established, and they pick the executive director, and they fundraise appropriately and file all the paperwork.
yeah, again, I just think it's a very cumbersome thing, and it would take a lot of energy. I don't think we could pull that off in any kind of short period of time, if we even want to do it. So we might want to borrow that information, though, just to,
Yeah, it'll take 18 months at minimum. You'll call the
Mhm.
congressman every other week, and
Right.
you'll get him to push the IRS along.
Right.
At least that was my own anecdotal experience. It worked,
Yep.
but it still took a solid 18 months.
okay. I guess we're gonna close the discussion on the MRC for now. See, perhaps at the next meeting, if Mary Ann could come. I know her, I think she's a great lady and capable, hard worker, but I think it's taking on a lot personally. But maybe if she could come to our next meeting just to introduce herself to the other members, that would be good.
And we do have a meeting planned for 15 other, or 14, depending on the numbers of the greater Grafton community. So we'll have a meeting with the managers and invite the Board of Health to that
Okay.
meeting.
Yeah.
Those boards of health, just so we can all be on the same page. I believe in that foundation first.
Yeah.
In terms of volunteers, it's great to have all the public service agencies and the faith-based community, those are great. But internally, we have a lot of resources in each municipality, those need to be firmed up. So we're gonna have a kickoff meeting, if you will, I think it's the
Yeah.
22nd.
Of July?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. What day of the week is that?
It's a Monday.
Well,
But we're trying to coordinate with the state, and then it's 15 other communities, so
right.
it's, we're pushing towards it. So
Yeah, I
we're
guess
gonna-
those letters would have to go out of invitation, would have to go out pretty quickly to.
We're gonna email them tomorrow
Okay.
to say hold the date. So the email will go to those offices, and,
Yep.
you know, since they're colleagues, I hope that they pay attention
To
to it.
respond quickly, yeah, so to speak. Okay, well, I think that's about all we can discuss this evening on that. And, should we
Yep.
start reading this anyway, at least we'll get,
Because it's after 6:30.
yeah.
I appreciate your time, thank you. Thank you, Colleen.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So, would you be able to read this one, and I'll read the next one? Or, I guess,
Okay.
first, I guess I have to have a motion to open the public hearing.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye. So opening the public hearing, the Grafton Board of Health is in receipt of a variance request from Timothy Matatol Jr. regarding 120 Adams Road, Grafton, Mass., Assessors Map 24, Lot 131, requesting the Board of Health grant a variance from the Town of Grafton Well Regulations, Section 4, to allow installation of a private well for potable water only, as opposed to connecting to the municipal water supply as the regulations state. The board will conduct a public hearing on July 8th at 6:30 p.m. in conference room at the Grafton Memorial Center, 30 Providence Road, Grafton, Mass. Any person wishing to be heard in conjunction with this request should appear at the time and place designated or by letter to this board in time of the hearing. Individuals requiring special accommodations should contact the health department at least 5 days prior to the hearing.
Okay. We have a letter from Tim. Are you Tim?
Yes, I was in the wrong room.
Oh, that's okay.
But
Would you
I
mind
spoke up.
signing our attendance sheet?
Yeah, absolutely.
When they started talking planning board, you knew you were in the wrong place,
No, they didn't even
huh?
talk.
Oh, they didn't
camera
even talk
issues
yet?
and stuff, and I was like, when does this start? And they said 7:30, and I was like,
It's, okay, there's Tim.
Here's your letter, Tim, if you want to, I guess we're at the point where we'd like to hear about that.
yeah, absolutely. You want me to just read it, or just tell you about the?
Yeah, pretty much read it, but summarize it, you don't have to get into all the
Yeah.
specifics. It's sort of a cost issue and a couple other issues in there.
Yeah, so, building a house for myself on Adams Road, and we're 750 feet off the road, and the whole property pitches back towards the road, and it's an extremely wet lot. So, some areas the water is perking right out of the ground, coming right out of the ground. So every trench we've dug is just a river, and so the whole property pitches back to the street. Digging that trench is gonna be extremely difficult. We'll have to do it in sections if we're gonna do it. It's also the cost of doing it, all the trenching, all the sand, all the pipe. They want a meter pit.
What's the approximate cost or estimate?
Between 11 and 13,000, as opposed to like 8,000 for a well. So we're almost done with the house, and so really we're right now we're just waiting to put in our fixtures in the house, but we still don't have water because we tried to get into this meeting last month, but I was too late to it.
Yep.
So timing is the other thing, and then the third hardship is really performance. We haven't really gotten a straight answer on whether or not that distance and that elevation is gonna supply adequate water
Yep.
to the house.
Yep.
I've asked about it, but couldn't really get any hard numbers that's gonna be like PSI and stuff.
Do any neighbors have wells?
I know the neighbor right in front of me, we're building behind two houses, and I know the house in front of me to the left has a well. And I know there's other wells, because I've done some research, I'm just not sure exactly what addresses have wells.
Yep. Now, that's a diagram, and Phil had done some information here.
So your property pitches down to the road, your house and everything's gonna be
Yeah.
above the road?
Yeah.
I know on that end of Adams Road, there's a lot of like old car, auto body places. And if you talk to any of your neighbors to have their well water tested to make sure that it's
So I've talked to a few people,
not contaminated.
the junkyard is across the street,
Yeah.
and they had an issue that got signed off on January of 19. Yeah. So I called them and talked to him about it, and he said being uphill, he really didn't have any concern.
Right.
He had tested all of the water
Yeah.
in the neighborhood. I also called high water purity out of Millbury.
High purity water.
Yeah, exactly, and I asked him about the wells in the area, and he has a couple systems, but he said they're mostly for high iron,
Oh,
and it's not even a lot of iron, he said that it's pretty good water up there.
yeah. Okay. Yeah, being uphill from those old auto body places is much safer.
Yeah, it was a concern, but after doing a little bit of research and actually talking to the person that did all the studies in the neighborhood
Yeah,
for the last
exactly.
10 years, it was reassuring that,
Felt
well,
comfortable.
we'll probably be safe.
Yeah, exactly.
And you have a pool at the house too?
We don't have a pool, we just put it on the plan so that the grade was done the way we'd want it,
I
if we
gotcha.
did one.
Yeah, down the road, okay.
Yeah.
That's good, and then you're familiar with this kind of stuff, I think. And from the engineer, Phil Legere from the Alliance, he does have a letter here saying, due to the distance and elevation of 750 feet plus to the town water line, and plenty of property to locate a well with no setback issues, I have no opposition to the variance requested as presented. I would just suggest that you do get it tested by high purity water once you get it
Yeah.
rolling, to make sure there's no,
Yeah, it's drinkable, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where is your driveway going to be?
Yeah, no,
If you don't, yeah, I know we're upside down here, but
That's fine.
Where's the road?
This is the driveway is this red dotted line here.
Yeah.
You can
Okay.
see it kind of comes out like
Yeah.
that.
Oh,
It's a little
okay.
turnaround space
All right.
that comes down like this.
so the street is down here,
Yep.
and then it goes up the hill to the house,
Yeah.
and then the well will be over to,
Right here.
oh, right here.
Septic
The
field.
septic field is,
Yeah,
okay,
septic is over here.
and the well is here, and then a possible pool in the back.
Yeah.
Bill checked it out, there's probably at least 100 feet or whatever.
Well, yeah, he said no setback.
Yeah, it's pretty far. This is almost 100 feet. Actually, I think it's maybe even a little bit more, so.
Okay.
Okay, so on the road, folks,
Septic system is not designed for plumbing, garbage disposal, okay.
again, Bill has his seal here saying well approved by him on 7/2. Please, Bill.
Do we have the variance notice? You have to make a motion,
So then they're going to close the hearing.
So accept the motion to close the hearing.
right? Second?
Unless anyone else would like to speak to it.
Good.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 And then a motion to accept the variance. Would you approve of this?
Did you make a motion?
Yeah, I don't know that I can make the motion, but you make the motion
Motion to approve the variance
Okay.
for 120 Adams Road
as presented
as presented.
and as approved by Phil Legier. Second the motion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think that means I got it.
Right.
That does mean you got it.
That's
Somebody's
right.
gonna sign their name there.
Right.
Bill may have already signed
Phil may
it,
have
Phil
already,
did sign it,
yes,
yeah.
Phil signed it.
but you
Yeah,
should sign it again
there is a
because
spot
of the,
here.
You wanna sign on it?
date.
And I'm assuming that High Purity Water does general testing. There's a couple of companies in Hopkinton too that do that.
Can you do testing before you put the well in?
I think you have to drill the,
Have to-
the well and then the town, I think, tests it. But we do HVAC work for the owner of High Purity, and so I asked them if they do like general maintenance, if you will.
Yeah.
And they'll do like periodic testing,
Okay.
which I wanna do.
Once
Right.
in a couple of years or?
Yeah, once a
It's not
year.
like town water that, you know, is safe.
Yeah,
But,
and it's a little bit of a long shot, so to speak, or whatever, as to how deep you're gonna have to go. That's,
Yeah.
there's a variance in the price.
Yeah, I talked to a couple companies, they said wells around there typically between 300 and 400 feet.
Yeah, especially being
Yeah.
up on top of the hill.
Right.
Yeah.
I have a disposal systems construction permit for 120 Adams Road. Construct the disposal system,
Okay.
which we just, we just looked at.
Right, right.
It was already approved, but they moved the tank, right?
Yeah.
So they just.
Oh,
Needs to be approved.
where did it get moved?
Further from the house.
It moved, kind
Kind
of where the engineer originally drew the pipe going into the house. It
Mhm.
moved to the right about 20 feet
Oh,
because of the
okay.
way the finished elevations landed.
Oh.
Okay.
Mason is the installer. All right.
And also approved by Phil.
Yep.
Alright.
So,
What's that?
I just need that letter back. set.
All right, thank you. All right, thanks for.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
So unless there's any
Maybe new
other,
house.
unless there's any other business,
You guys.
unless there's any other business to come before our
Any
board
other
this
business?
evening, accept a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Motion seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.